Here we go! Let's go ahead and slide into our last news story. This one happened this morning. So I woke up at 7 this morning.
Mm-hmm.
By 8 a.m., logged into Twitter for the first time. Mind blown. Nintendo Switch Lite was announced today. A portable-only version of the Nintendo Switch. This is what we've all been speculating on since the actual release of the Nintendo Switch. The Switch wasn't even out yet, and people were speculating on an exclusively portable version of the console. But here it is. We have our first look. It looks very much in line with the specs that I saw during that I discussed during the 8-bit news that talked about the leaks of the accessories.
The cases.
Exactly. Very much in line with that. The colors are completely different from that concept art that we saw. But a lot of it is remarkably the same. So first things first, form factor, it's smaller. Let me see if I can pull up the exact specs.
It goes from 5.5 inches screen to from 6.7 originally to 5.5, right?
Yeah, from 6.2 to 5.5. The resolution is fixed at 720p. This is good. That means like if it's gonna look exactly the same as it does from the previous generation, the Switch, the OG Switch to this new Switch Lite. The D-pad is nice. Removing the directional buttons because the Joy-Cons are not detachable; they are fixed to the hardware itself. But I like this. Separate Joy-Cons can be connected to the system, so you can play multiplayer games on this 5.5-inch screen. Now, granted, that's probably not going to be a great experience, but it can be done. They've gotten rid of the kickstand. That means the Switch cannot support itself, so tabletop mode is off the table.
Unless you buy a case.
Yes.
Or just a kickstand.
They're showcasing so we're losing functions. We're losing motion controls, the IR sensor, and HD rumble. All of these things being removed will significantly, yes, they do make sense, and they will significantly increase the battery life of the system. Granted, they really spent a lot of time showcasing Super Mario Odyssey during the actual 6-minute reveal trailer. I don't know how that game's specifically going to work without the motion controls, because even if you play that game with a pro controller and in handheld mode, motion controls are still kind of a pretty big function of that game. I don't think it can be enjoyed properly sans motion controls.
Potentially they'll update the game for the Switch Mini.
I was thinking they would have to, specifically for the Switch Mini.
But I want to go back to what you mentioned, because one of the things I don't think they ever specifically said, but it was one of the key things I was looking for with this upgrade is battery life. I don't think we ever gotten mention of what the estimated battery life is.
They didn't say what the specific was. They just said better battery. Now,
so I want to know what that better battery is before I double down on getting a smaller Switch.
Now, initially it was speculated that the new version of the Switch would have a better processor. This doesn't seem to have a better processor. And it probably couldn't because of the smaller form factor of the device. That being said, though, visually, what do you think of the device? Because it's quite similar, but it also looks a little bit different. It's a little bit more sleek because it doesn't have like the ridges where the Joy-Cons would disconnect. Obviously, the buttons have gone through some sort of they've changed a little bit.
I think the colors look really nice. Those colors pop, and I love those colors.
Yes, the 3 colors. We have turquoise, gray, and yellow, and a special edition Pokemon one featuring Zamazenta and Zacian, which by far is my favorite of the bunch.
Yeah, I love that special edition. It's either that or the Cyan. But if it's a special edition Pokemon, like hello?
Yeah.
Screw Cyan, Zamazenta, Zacian.
Yeah. Aside from that, like it doesn't look like even though like it's a little bit sleeker, it hasn't changed a whole lot physically other than getting smaller. Now I would imagine that it's a little bit more durable because at the lower price point, this is going to be launching at $199.99, so $200. I imagine that it's thicker plastic, maybe more sturdy, more durable, specifically since they're going to definitely be marketing this towards younger gamers, children.
Yeah. I definitely think it's gonna be a bit more durable. It seems to resemble a Vita a whole lot more than the Switch. And one thing that I am kind of disappointed about is that it's still too big. It's a mini system, but it's still just too big. I would like it to be pocket sized. So for those of you watching, at home on YouTube, I have my Switch here. I'm going to so this is what a full Nintendo Switch would be, and I believe it's roughly going to be fully what a Joy-Con or the Switch with that one Joy-Con. So this would be the size roughly of the new Switch Lite, and it's still not going to fit in a pocket, even if it's slimmer. This is too big for a pocket. And
true, but I don't think you want to make the sacrifices of they've already reduced the screen by pretty significant margin. I don't think you want to risk that, especially with games like Mario Maker, especially since portable only Mario Maker. When you're playing Mario Maker in portable mode, you have to utilize the touchscreens. I think you're going to need a wide enough screen to accommodate that. That's one of the biggest flaws of Mario Maker on the 3DS, was that the 2.4-inch screen was way too small for for stylus use. It was actually kind of brutal in that way. So
I don't know. I feel like either that or make it folding. We have the folding phones now. Give us the folding Switch.
Yeah, Samsung pulled those off the market real quick, though.
I mean, yeah, but Nintendo, just make it better. Make it better, please. But it's I'm fine with having to throw my Switch in a bag. If I'm gonna pay for a mini system, I want that thing in my pocket.
Now, things that haven't changed. It's still going to utilize USB-C, which is nice. But this will not dock. So because of the smaller form factor, it won't even fit in a dock. They're not releasing a dock separately at this point that we know of. That may change in the future. I would venture to say that they've probably removed some of the components that would allow the Switch to output to a TV. It's still going to have NFC capabilities, so you're still going to have your ability to do your amiibo. It's going to have Wi-Fi capabilities still. I hope that that's something that they've worked on, because the Switch is notoriously bad at Wi-Fi. Now, it's gotten better. They've done some updates and patches that make the Wi-Fi more stable, but I really hope that they focus on that. Exactly. Yeah. They're saying that the battery life should be roughly 20 to 30% more based on the game. Now, here it's saying is that it uses a more efficient processor than the Switch Classic, but that's more efficient doesn't necessarily mean better. Because this is only going to be outputting at 720p constantly. It won't need a processor that can do more. It just needs a processor that could run more efficiently, which means that it won't get as hot as the original Switch. There is still no Bluetooth audio being added to this. It's kind of, we talked a lot about this. I was hoping that Nintendo wouldn't sacrifice the HD Rumble on a Nintendo Switch Mini, but I guess that was just something that had to be sacrificed, which is kind of a shame, because there are some games that just utilize HD Rumble so effectively. A game that I recently played that used HD Rumble that I didn't realize it because of the controller I was using was Cadence of Hyrule. Cadence of Hyrule uses HD Rumble in an actual really smart way once you enter the Lost Woods. I was using a third-party wireless controller, the Power A enhanced wireless controller that you see here if you're watching the video version. And there is an item that helps you walk through the Lost Woods. And couldn't use it because this controller doesn't support Rumble. And that specific item uses Rumble controls. So what I had to do was go old school, get a piece of paper and a pen, and draw a mini map so that I could figure my way through the Lost Woods in that game. So there are games that without HD Rumble they sacrifice something. So I guess Cadence of Hyrule is going to need a audio cue added. to that
Or you
section
just
of the game.
get like another controller, buy some Joy-Cons for it or something.
That's true.
I think it's not worth putting it in when only a handful of games really do utilize it well. There's Cadence of Hyrule, 1-2 Switch, where you already need to get that second Joy-Con anyways. And Mario Odyssey does a good implementation, but it's all aesthetic. Not some of it you have to use to find hidden moons, right? There's like a radar factor with it, so I guess not always.
So another thing that gets sacrificed is Labo.
Well, yeah,
because of the smaller size, you won't be able to use any of the Labo kits.
Yeah,
with this newest system.
Anyways,
what else gets sacrificed? Not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of sacrifice. It's retailing at $150 less. That price point.
50 isn't only 100.
What? Wait. No, I'm pretty sure the Switch launched at $350.
Switch launched at $299. Switch launched at $299. You must have gotten your scalp.
Oh, you know what? I brought the extra controller.
Yeah, that's what I
forgot.
thought.
I forgot because mine. I bought mine on Amazon with a Pro controller. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it's $100 less.
$100 cheaper. I still think that's just a smidge too much. I feel like
it's less than the 3DS when it launched.
I mean, yeah, I agree, and it's way more worth than a 3DS. But I would say at most 180 is what I would spend the Switch Mini, unless it came bundled with the game. 180.
See, I think the price point is fairly reasonable for what it is. Now, granted, I am not happy with losing some of these features, but I think I love my Switch, but I always hesitate to take it somewhere with me, because as cool as awesome of a system it is, it's not as durable as other Nintendo handhelds.
It's not,
and I'm clumsy. I am clumsy, extraordinarily clumsy. I fall, I trip, like I drop stuff all the time. A budget version of the Nintendo Switch seems like something that I could really sink my teeth into, and something I wouldn't be scared to like bring out with me on. I do bring my Switch. It's just that like I'm a lot more picky about when and where I do it, and I always make sure it's in the case, and like I put the case in a backpack and whatnot. Like I'm like extra paranoid when it comes to my Nintendo Switch. But I like it. I love the colors, man. All three colors are great. I think turquoise is the one that's kind of taking everybody by storm. Yeah. I like the gray, though. There's something to be said about the gray.
Oh, yeah. I like all of them. I think it goes turquoise, gray, yellow, then obviously on top is the Zamazenta Zaxian.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, and that's really good because they're timing-wise, they're launching this right around the time of Pokemon Sword and Shield. So they're really going to capitalize. Like if you didn't think that Nintendo took the holiday market by storm these last couple of years, a budget version of the Nintendo Switch and a Pokemon game at the same time, dude, Nintendo's going to own Christmas. They're going to own the holiday shopping season.
This makes Pokemon more accessible to people who might not have bought it during the holiday season, and now they can.
Well, having a separate SKU on the market too is gonna
just good, yeah.
Gonna do wonders for them. Aside from just having this, the Switch has been a success every holiday season since its inception, but this extra SKU is going to really just blow things out of the water. I don't know what else. I don't know what other console somebody would be asking for, especially with a Pokemon game launching so close, and then obviously Luigi's Mansion probably launching in October, so not too far off either. So, good move by Nintendo.
And I like how you mentioned the different SKUs because, as I'm sure people might remember, I've mentioned, the Switch Mini versions a couple times on the show. I was not a believer that it would come this soon. And, I was that way for a long time. And then I believe just before E3 a bit, I started being like, maybe it might come. And then I think like last week, there was a Nintendo investor meeting of some kind. And they had mentioned that, hey, we plan to compete with Xbox and Project Scarlet in PS5 with getting a bigger install base. And, I'm thinking, well, how do they get a bigger install base? Multiple SKUs. And I think they even hinted at that in the interview. I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe we do need that Switch Mini like ASAP then, because I think PS5 and Project Scarlet are coming out sooner than we really thought here. So, and then a week later, here we are, Switch Mini.
Now, the other speculated Switch hardware that everybody's been talking about forever, a Switch Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I figured if they were going to announce a Switch Lite or Mini, that they'd announce a Switch Pro as well, one with a better processor, one with, a more efficient docking system. That didn't come.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we have a Switch Mini, is it long, do you think, that before we see a more powerful version of this hardware? Not a step up like to a new console generation, but
Mm-hmm.
like a stopgap system. Like we had the DS, and then we had the new 3DS, and then we had the 2DS, and we had the new 2DS.
I think the best possible time to release that, slight step up is going to be only when the market does get saturated, which right now seems to be kind of far off. But once they stop selling Switches at a good rate, I think that's when you create the Switch Pro. I think we could see a couple more iterations of the Switch, but not a Switch Pro per se, until we get that saturation point in the market.
Yeah, and as of right now, we're looking at as of March of this year, they had sold 34.74 million Switch units, and this is just OG hardware. If Nintendo plays their cards right, if they've manufactured enough of these Switch Minis, we could probably get into that like 48 million units sold, once the holiday season is over. So obviously we still don't have, numbers for this quarter. We probably won't see those until like August, I think it is.
Whenever that quarter
whenever they have that financial meeting for that. But yeah, so yeah, we could see something like 48 million units sold if they've played their cards right, if they market the system right. This is just a showcasing. Now it's all about marketing. The marketing, has to not neglect the current hardware that's out, but it also has to be reflective of the new hardware. You have to showcase both. They were smart about that with the DS commercials, the 3DS commercials. I'm sorry, the 3DS and the 2DS and the new 2DS. They made a good showing all versions available on the market. Mm-hmm. So like if they were playing like whatever new game was hot on the market at the time, they show people using different variations of the console, which they did in this debut trailer. They showcased, hey, here's somebody playing the Switch Mini, and here's somebody playing the OG Switch. So they have to do a good job of marketing it, and they need separate marketing from the OG Switch. They have to showcase that this is actual new hardware retailing at a lower price point. So there's that. And finally, there's one more thing we have to talk about on this subject, and that is the fact that this effectively kills the 3DS. Now, I know the 3DS is dead. There are no new games slated by Nintendo, and maybe there's some shovelware coming out from third-party developers, but this is it. This is the official, like, death knell, the nail in the coffin, whatever you want to call it. This kills the 3DS 100%. Because why would you need to support two portable platforms? You don't. Like, it made sense for a little bit when it was like the OG Switch and the 3DS, but now literally makes no sense for them to continue to support the 3DS. Now, Nintendo put out a statement today saying we'll stop selling 3DSs when the demand is not there anymore. I'm pretty sure you just killed demand for the 3DS, Nintendo. Make the announcement, put it out of its misery, and let's go ahead and move into this new Switch Lite era. Any other additional thoughts on the Switch Lite?
No, it's copying the DS Lite. We had the DS and the DS Lite, so I think maybe the new Nintendo Switch will be Nintendo Switch I. Nintendo Switch I XL.
Good God, too many names. Yeah. I really hope they come up with a better name than that. All right, but with that being said, let us take a 5-minute break, and when we return, we can go ahead and discuss the Pokemon trailer that had a lot of like little gems in there. Yeah. So so ladies and gentlemen, we will be back in 5, and we're gonna
be back
talk
in
all
5.
talk all about Pokemon. I have no idea
really pull you right through this.
Yeah, I have no idea how to segue out of this one today. All right, we'll be back.